Hello, this is Jackie with Panama Relocation Tours. Thank you for joining us for our Wednesday live stream. This live stream is called the Move to Panama Q&A because you're going to ask some questions and I'm going to answer them. It's all about you getting the answers to the questions that you have about moving to and living in Panama. I know it's a really big decision to move to Panama, and there's people say, well, what about this? And what about that? And what about all these other little things? So there's so many little questions that you have, even outside of getting a visa and getting your pets here, just other questions. So that's what these Wednesday live streams are for, is to help you get answers to your questions. I'm going to make just a couple of announcements first while we're waiting for everybody to get in here. And then I will start taking your questions in just a little bit. So I'm glad you like my hair. I got the curling iron out today and curled it up a little bit. So thank you. So one of the first announcements that I have is this Friday at 5 o'clock Central, we have a new video that's going to come out on our YouTube channel. Let me put the YouTube channel up there right now so you'll know where it is. Right here, YouTube at Panama Relocation Tours. So new video, and it's you're going to hear from a couple that came on a Panama Relocation Tour, and they've moved to an area in Nueva Gorgona, which is just a little bit east of Coronado, and they live in what I think is the most beautiful condo complex there called Bahia. So I can't wait for you to see that video, but I have a sneak peek for you right now. If you head over after this live stream, if you go over to our YouTube channel and click on Shorts, you can see just a little snippet of some of the information that you're going to see. They're amazing ocean views that they have. So you get to see a little bit of what it's going to be about on Friday. So I hope you can join us for our watch party that we have at 5 p.m. on Friday for the new video about Gorgona. On one of the other videos, let's see, we have a lot of other videos coming out. We have a new video about a hospital in Panama City called the Panama Clinic. We've done some other hospitals for you, but I really wanted to showcase that one. And we have some other videos of a lady that lives in Playa Blanca. We have a couple that lives in Pedicey. We have a couple of people that live in Panama City. We've got one for Volcan, and we have another one for Boquete coming up. So we have lots of new videos. They've already been shot. They're just in production or getting edited right now. So for you to know when those go live, I suggest that while you go over there to look at that short, that you also subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then you'll be the first one to know whenever the videos go live. So after this live stream, you can check out our YouTube channel to see that. The other big announcement that I wanted to make is our Panama Relocation Tours. Since 2010, we've been offering all-inclusive 6-day, 7-night Panama Relocation Tours to take you all the way across the country and show you what an amazing place this is to live, all while we're teaching you important things that you need to know so you'll have a smooth move when you do come to Panama. So if you look at our schedule between now and the end of the year, we're sold out. A lot of the tours for next year are sold out until almost April. So if you're thinking about coming on a tour next year, it'd be a good idea for you to go ahead and reserve your spot. We only require a $500 per person deposit to save your spot for a Panama Relocation Tour. If something comes up and you can't come, just let us know at least a month in advance and we'll refund all of your money. Or if you need to change dates, that happens sometimes, that people, they were signed up. We just had someone that was signed up for March. They saw an opening in January and they jumped on it so they could get the January. We'll just move your deposit from one tour to another. But if you're thinking about coming on a tour, I'd encourage you to go ahead and reserve a spot, because we are selling out, 3, 4, 5 months in advance. The other thing is if you really don't need a tour, if you know you want to move to Panama City, if you know you want to move to a certain area, you might not need a tour. Then you could just get our online Panama Relocation Guide, which has just written information about all the different areas, how to get things done here in Panama. So we have information about the tours, the online guide, and everything on our website at PanamaRelocationTours.com. Let me pop that up, PanamaRelocationTours.com. So that's it for the commercials. I'm going to start taking your questions, and this is how it works. Some of you know already, I see a lot of familiar names that come here every Wednesday for our Q&A, and thank you for coming back. And all of you new people, thanks for being here. So if you have a question for me, you're going to have to type it into the chat window and put 3 question marks in front of it. And then I'll know that it's a question, because there's a lot of little conversations going on over there. There's people that were on tours together are having a happy reunion every Wednesday and every Saturday. So if you have a question for me, I will pop it up on the screen, put 3 question marks, I'll pop it up on the screen, I'll read it, and then I'll answer it. That's how these Q&As work. So the first question tonight is from John. It says, if you plan to sell your house in the state you live in and therefore not have residence in the state, why is it necessary to establish residency in another state when you move to Panama? So it may not be necessary for you to establish residency in another state. If you're selling your house in a state that has income tax, that has a state income tax where you'd still have to file a tax return, even if you sold your house, then you might want to establish residency in a different place. If you live in a state that taxes your pension income, like Social Security or pension from a job, you might want to establish residency in a different place to just completely avoid having to file state income tax return or pay state taxes. By the way, one other thing is the questions usually come up pretty fast and furious on our Q&A, so it might scroll off the screen before I get to it. So you might have to type it in a couple of times before I pounce on it and pop it up here on the screen. I'll get to it as fast as I can. So Polly wants to know, how are we viewed by Panamanians? Do you mind that there are so many expats living in their country? We're making it difficult for them to find housing. So first of all, we're not making it difficult for them to find housing. A lot of Panamanians, they have no problem at all finding housing. The people that have problem finding housing are sometimes the expats that want their house to look exactly like it looked in Toronto, Canada, and they can't find that here in Panama. Or they want their house to look exactly like the 5-acre ranch house that they had in Texas, and they might not be able to find that here. But Panamanians, they don't necessarily want the same kind of a house that expats have. So you don't have to worry about that. Do you have any statistics on how much rental prices have increased over the past few years? So I haven't seen very much of an increase in prices for rental houses, especially if you're renting from a Panamanian, which we highly recommend. If it's an expat-owned house that they're renting it out, sometimes they raise the rent every year because that's what they used to do when they owned rentals in the United States, but it's not necessarily everywhere. So rental prices have been about the same. Does the apostilled marriage license need to be sent to the consulate for approval? If your marriage license is apostilled by the State Department, then you do not have to send it to the consulate. No new video on David. Yes, we do have a new video on David and Volcan and Panama City and Pananomi. We have a lot of new videos, about 7 or 8 new videos coming up. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel to know when those come on. Do you need to get the pensionado benefits if you meet the age requirements but go with a Friendly Nation visa? You do not. If you get the Friendly Nation visa and you meet the age requirements, you're still going to get all the pensionado, also called jubilado, discounts. So there's no need to switch visas. Can you tell us some things that are covered through the Panama Helpline? So you're going to have to look at their website. I've never had that service. If you look at the Panama Helpline, they service the Coronado area. Look on their website to see what's covered there. Are there opportunities to volunteer in local communities to help with projects that are important to the locals? It depends on where you live. There's a lot of volunteer opportunities in some areas, and if you just look for it, you'll definitely find even more volunteer opportunities. Are the retired expats you're familiar with mostly buying or renting? The majority of the expats that I know just rent the whole time they live in Panama. Some people, after they've been here a couple of years, they buy, but a lot of people, they just keep on renting. Some people want to live in one place for a year and then another place for a year, then a different place for a year to experience different places here in Panama. It's easy to do that if you're just a renter, but it's impossible to do that if you bought something. William says, we'll be spending the holidays in Panama City away from our family. Any tips for us to socialize and celebrate with others? We're PRT members. So we'll have our monthly PRT get together. You want to definitely do that. And if you're not already on our private PRT Facebook group, you need to do that because we'll put information on there about special dinners for Christmas, Thanksgiving, and other things on the Facebook group. Just for those of you that have got in a little bit later, if you want to ask a question, you're going to have to type it into the chat window and put 3 question marks in front of it, so I'll know it's a question. If I don't see the question marks, I'll just think you're having a conversation with someone else in the chat window. So James wants to know, if we get a pensionado visa and meet the requirements for the net income, will we ever need to recertify? You will not ever need to recertify. Once you get approved for the visa, then you don't have to show any financials ever again. Linda wants to know, is it worth the cost to ship furnishings or better to buy household goods in Panama? That's a personal decision. Some people really want to have their furniture with them and they ship it here. You need to know that a lot of places here come furnished, completely furnished. So finding a place that's vacant, that's not furnished, is actually a little bit more challenging. So you might want to just buy things here. If you come on a Panama relocation tour, we're going to show you a lot of rental properties, and we'll even go to a shopping center that has a furniture store so you can see what kind of things, what comes with the house and what kind of things are available for purchase here. And if you set up residency in Florida, Texas, or South Dakota, which address would you use? So it depends on where you set up the residence. If you set it up in Texas, you do Texas. You do South Dakota, you use South Dakota. Where are the monthly PRT meetings held? So we have 8 Panama Relocation Tour meetings held simultaneously throughout the country. And we post that information on our private Facebook group on where the location is. It's only available to people that have either been on a tour or have bought the guide. If I get a pensionado visa, can I buy a house and rent it out as an Airbnb? You can buy a house and you can rent it out, but you need to know that you're going to have to report that income in Panama and pay taxes on the income in Panama and pay taxes, report the income and pay taxes in the country that you moved from as well. So double taxing. Nope, not a question. What if I'm interested in 6 months living in Panama, then return to the U.S. stay for 6 months? Do I understand it depends if I get a residency visa? I have an interest in Boquete. So I'm not real sure I understand the question. So if you're from the United States or Canada, anywhere in North America, you can come here as a tourist for 180 days. After that, you have to leave the country. When looking at properties in PA, specifically Bocas del Toro, can one real estate agent show me all the properties like in the US, or do I need to contact all the listing agents to see all the properties? For the most part, you're going to have to contact several different real estate agents to see all the ones that are available, because some agents will share their commission and some agents won't share their commission. And John wants to know, if you get residency in Panama and have no residence in the U.S., do you still have to file a state taxes. It depends on where you move from. Then you may have to file a state income tax return. For example, if you have a California driver's license, then you might not have a house, but you've established residency in California, you still get to file a tax return. Once you have your permanent residency, are there requirements to visit Panama with 2 years? My question is, do the 2 years start from your last visit? The 2 years starts whenever you come into Panama. Then they take your passport, they run it through this computer, and they put a stamp in it. When you leave Panama, they run it through a computer. So they know when you came in and they know whenever you leave. So when you leave Panama, that's the day that it starts. So within 2 years of the day that you left, you have to come back. And they know because it's all computerized. Nico says, can you purchase an annuity to cover the entirety of the pensionado visa? Yes, you can purchase an annuity. It has to be a lifetime annuity that pays at least $1,000 a month, US dollars for one person, or for a couple, $1,250. Do you know if with the Friendly Nation visa, the Bank of Nova Scotia, which operates in Panama, would meet requirements for bank where we could make the 3-year investment? So the Bank of Nova Scotia does not have an operation here in Panama. There is a Scotia Bank in Panama, but it's not associated with the Canada banks at all. Just in name, it's called Scotia Bank, but it's Scotia Bank Panama. They're not connected at all. Yes, you could make a deposit there, but I can tell you that other banks pay a much higher interest rate, so you really wouldn't want to open up your CD there. Because expats can't work, is it okay to barter eggs for haircut? Not really. The law says that if you're going to provide a product or a service in Panama, a service like I'll cut your hair, a service like I grow a bunch of eggs, that's a product. Haircut's a service. If you provide a product or service, then you have to get a work permit. So you can work in Panama. You just have to get a work permit. With some visas, you can get a work permit. Some visas, it's almost impossible to get a work permit, like a pensionado visa. So if you want to work, you're going to have to get a visa that is appropriate. And also know that some professions are protected professions. For example, cosmetology, haircuts, that's a protected profession for Panamanians only. So you need to definitely consult with an attorney about what it is you plan to, what product or service you plan to offer here in Panama, and see if you can even do it. Says, let me clarify, if I set up residence in a state that has no local taxes, and if I live in Panama, what address do I establish in that state? So you don't need it. You don't need an address in that state. If it doesn't have a state income tax, you don't need an address. Or you could get an address at a UPS store if you wanted to have one. Polly wants to know, are there opportunities? I think we already did that question. How is the mail system there for sending and receiving mail? It is non-existent. There's no mail delivery to your house in Panama. No more junk mail. But that means that, like just today, I had to send a letter, a legal size letter to my attorney in Panama City. So there's in-country courier services that you can use to move mail from one location to another in Panama. I'm in Boquete. My attorney's in the San Francisco area of Panama City. So I send an Uno Express, which is a courier service, to the San Francisco office, and my attorney will pick it up in the morning. As far as sending and receiving mail from outside of Panama, you need to get set up with a mail forwarding company, and that's how you can get your Amazon orders, and you can get mail like a new credit card and things like that sent to you here in Panama. If you look on our website at Panama Relocation Tours, we have an article all about how to do mail forwarding. Just type in Amazon in the search feature, and then you'll see details about how that works. How do I find a house for rent or sale? How to get a house in the Old Canal Zone? So there are some amazing houses in the Old Canal Zone really beautiful houses. So the best thing to do, I mean, you can look online on some of the websites. We have a rentals page and a link to several different places where you can look for rentals on there. Craigslist, Panama, and some other ones. Or you can just get with one of the real estate agents that we recommend, and they can show you whatever's available in that area. Elaine says, do I need a work permit to run an Airbnb if I have a pensionado visa? You don't need a work permit to run an Airbnb. You're allowed to have a rental property with a pensionado visa. Diane says, can I get a pensionado and live there and day trade? You can. If you're day trading, you'd be day trading outside of Panama, so that's no problem. Can I volunteer as an assistant at an assisted living facility without a work permit? Nope, you wouldn't be able to do that because working in an assisted living facility would be a protected profession. Healthcare is a protected profession, so you couldn't do that. With a $200,000 CD, it's still necessary to have $1,000 a month in income? No, it's not. The $1,000 a month in income is what you need to qualify for the pensionado visa. The $200,000 CD under the Friendly Nation visa is a different visa. And if you set up a 3-year CD with $200,000, then that's the Friendly Nation visa. They're two separate visas. You need one or the other. Jeffrey says, is it a requirement to have a bank account or utilities in your name prior to applying for a pensionado visa? So it's not a requirement to have a bank account when you apply for a pensionado visa. If you're married, then you have to have a lease, but the lease can just be from the hotel where you're staying for the week that you're in Panama. You can get a letter from them that says they're staying in Panama for a week on their letterhead, and that will suffice. Will Amazon Prime and Netflix accounts transfer to Panama? Oh, they need to be terminated. They will transfer to Panama. However, for you to get access to those, you're going to have to use a VPN or virtual private network. Look through our YouTube channel, and I have a video that I did about how to watch US TV, like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, all those things. So look for that on our YouTube channel, and that'll give you a lot more details. Anita says, I have a son with special needs, Down syndrome. He's 21 years old. Are there programs that work with special needs? So in some areas, there are very limited programs that work with special needs children. For example, in Boquete, where I live, we have something called the Handicap Foundation, and they have some outings once a year for people that are handicapped, and if they need wheelchairs or walkers or things like that, then they provide things like that. But there's not really special programs here in Panama. So I'm a U.S. resident, not a citizen. How long am I allowed to stay in Panama with a visit? My passport is not from the U.S. If you have a green card, even if you're in the U.S. and you have a green card, that's not going to count. Well, they go by your passport. So it depends on what country your passport is from as to how long you can stay. For some countries, it's only 30 days. Some countries, it's 90 days. If you're from North America, it's 180 days. You can contact the Panama consulate closest to you and say, how long can I stay in Panama? And they can let you know based on your passport. Dale says, 70 years old, what health, me too, says, what healthcare is available for non-vaxxed for COVID? So for a 70-year-old, there is Panama health insurance is available through Hospital Santa Fe in Panama City. They don't have any age restrictions at all. Even if you're 90 years old, you can get health insurance there. And they do not require you to be vaccinated for COVID. The other one that would be available would be a Worldwide Medical, which is international insurance, and you can cut the cost down about 50% if you go with their emergency only, if you wanted to do that. So Worldwide Medical is another one that would cover you in Panama or anywhere else. And if you're a U.S. citizen, you could get Medicare Advantage, and then that would cover you for emergencies in Panama. Maria says, will your team send a reminder email when the balance for the tour is due? Yes, we send a reminder about a month before when your balance is due. Well, let me go up to this other. Someone asked another question. It already rolled off the screen. Which one's cheaper, the Pensionado visa or the Friendly Nation visa? The Pensionado visa is the most affordable visa that you can get because, first of all, it's quick and easy. You get it in the permanent visa in less than 6 months. So there's less paperwork for your attorney. So the attorney fees are lower. But more importantly, the government fees are waived for the Pensionado visa, and they're not waived for the Friendly Nation visa. The government fees add up to $1,050 per person for you to get the Friendly Nation visa. That's on top of all the other fees. So Pensionado is definitely more affordable. It's just as easy. Getting the Friendly Nation visa or getting Pensionado visa is just as easy. It's just it's more affordable to get the Pensionado. Karen wants to know, if we go on a relocation tour, will we meet real estate agents who later on could help us buy a condo or home? Absolutely. You're going to meet real estate agents every day during your tour. You're also going to meet at least 2, maybe 3 immigration attorneys, get contacts for health insurance, and everything else that you need. So if anybody has a question for me, you're going to have to put 3 question marks in front of it for me to know that it's a question. Diane says, will rental income be accepted for the Pensionado visa until I take Social Security? Unfortunately, it will not. It has to be a lifetime income. What you could do if you don't get Social Security yet is you could buy an annuity that would equal at least $1,000 a month, and that would qualify. Can you do a video that focuses on private schools for expats that want to relocate with young children? Yeah, you know, that's something that's been on my list. The problem is with YouTube, we're not allowed to show children. In most cases, we can't show children in schools. So we would have to do a video with no kids around and maybe just talking to the administrator. So there's a lot of rules and regulations on doing a video that any children would be involved in. Meanwhile, we do have an article about private schools in Panama. So if you go to our website and just type in schools in the search feature, you'll see a lot of information about schools. Is the COVID vaccine required to stay in Panama? Nope, it's not required. No vaccines are required to enter Panama. No vaccines are required to live in Panama. And Annette wants to know, Jackie, you're 70? Yes, I am. When I grow up, I want to look as great as you do. You know what the secret is? Panama. That's the secret. It's Panama. I know Panama isn't really handicap accessible. Do you have any insight to the attitude Panamanian people have towards people with a disability? So Panamanians are very accepting to anybody and everybody. You're going to see that anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter what race you are. Doesn't matter if you have deformities. It doesn't matter if you have disabilities. Panamanians are very accepting and very helpful also. Just today, I was in Panama. I was in downtown Boquete, and there was a lady that was standing, older lady, that was standing alongside the street at the crosswalk, waiting for the traffic to slow down so that she could go across, waiting for people to stop, because you're supposed to stop and let people walk when they're at a crosswalk. Well, people weren't stopping. But this maybe 15, 16-year-old young man, he took that lady by the hand and he told the traffic, stop, stop. And he helped her get across the street. So that's just an example of the Panamanian way. It's just a beautiful place to live. So Barry says, if I arrive a week before your tour, what could you recommend I do to get familiar with the country? So if you arrive a week before, it depends on you. You know, if you want to do the touristy thing, then you can certainly do that. Go to the Panama Canal, Biodiversity Museum. If you want to get more familiar with the different neighborhoods, you could get an Uber driver or do a private tour and say, and we're going to show you the top 5 neighborhoods in Panama City during the tour. So you don't want to duplicate. We spend a whole day in Panama City showing you rentals, showing you the top 5 popular places to live. We go on a hospital tour. So our tour, Panama Relocation Tours, we're focused 100% on relocating to Panama. It's not for tourists. It's not a touristy tour. We don't go to the Panama Canal. That has nothing to do with relocating to Panama. So if you want to do touristy stuff, then you could do that. And hi, Jackie, I live in Florida. There's no personal state tax. Do I receive Social Security? What I need to file taxes? So if you're a U.S. citizen, you have to file a U.S. tax return every year, all the time. It's a mess, but you have to do it. And it's no problem. You can use TurboTax to do it online. There's people that can help you file your tax return. You're not going to have to file a tax return in Florida, but you're going to have to file a federal tax return. Is Kaiser Permanente allowed in Panama? Yes, Kaiser Permanente is allowed at some hospitals in Panama, but not all hospitals in Panama. I'm going to do an updated list about the hospitals, which hospitals accept different insurances. I'll put that out next week. Oops, clicked on the wrong thing there. Sorry. So, pensionado visa. Does the $1,000 a month require a notarized letter confirming that the pension is a lifetime guarantee? So if your $1,000 a month is Social Security or income from retirement from a job, so you're going to have that letter. And if it does not say lifetime on there, Social Security won't say lifetime, then you have to attach an affidavit to it that says, I swear that this, $1,750 a month that I get is going to be for the rest of my life. You sign that in front of a notary, you attach that to your income verification, and you turn that in with to the Panama consulate to get it all authenticated. Are there any rental apartment buildings in Boquete like in Coronado or Panama City, except for being low-rise with rents below $1,000 per month? So there are some apartments that are in Boquete. The rents are going to be in the $900 to $1,500 range. And some are going to be cat friendly, some are not going to be pet friendly. I saw one the other day. It's I think it's only 3-story building. It has shops and stores on the bottom and then 2 floors up. It has apartments. It was $950 a month, all bills included and pet friendly, close to Main Street in Boquete. Jaden says, I'd like to take the tour next year and then stay 2 weeks after. Would I get a discount stay at places we stayed during the tour? So if you stayed at some of the places that we stayed during the tour, they do offer, if you just let them know you came on a Panama Relocation Tour, they'll contact us to verify that. Then they do give you our group rate so you can save some money. When do you expect the new public hospital to open in Boquete? Where's the nearest current public hospital? So the nearest in Boquete, the nearest current public hospital is in David, and it's about 45 minutes away from downtown Boquete. The new public hospital should be open, they say, by March of next year. Like all things in Panama, I'll believe it when I see it. And Raymar says, what type of health care is available for veterans? So if you're a veteran, you want to, and if you have any service-connected disabilities, you want to make sure you register for the Foreign Medical Program, FMP. And I have an article about the Foreign Medical Program on our website, so make sure you read that. It tells you how to get registered for it. So any service-connected disabilities are covered under the Foreign Medical Program. Also, any medications that are service-connected disabilities. Also, TRICARE is accepted at many of the hospitals here in Panama. Not sure if this is advisable. Can you switch from a friendly nation visa to a pensionado visa once you meet the income within a 3-year time frame. So there's no reason to do that at all. First of all, to do that, you're going to have to renounce your Friendly Nation visa. Then you're going to have to reapply, new FBI report, new everything for the pensionado visa. You don't want to do that. With the Friendly Nation visa, once you meet the age requirements, then you're going to still get all of the pensionado discounts. So there's no reason at all for you to switch visas. Justin told us no on getting the discounted rate after the tour we just took. So what you have to do is you have to contact the hotel directly, and you have to tell the hotel, I was just on a Panama relocation tour. They have a list of everybody that was just on the tour, and then ask them to give you the discounted rate, and they will give it to you. Do you know more or less how many months it is currently taking to get your Social Security application accepted, and how many months to get your first deposit and official letter? So it takes about 30 days. You know, once you apply, it takes about 30 days for you to get that first payment. Or that was the experience that I had whenever I applied. Is United Healthcare accepted in Panama? It is. And if United Healthcare, if it's Medicare Advantage, it's accepted at some places. If you have United Healthcare and it's more of an international plan, then it's accepted at even more places. Would VA disability payments qualify? Yes, VA disability payments would qualify so long as it's at least $1,000 a month for one person, or if you're married and applying together, you need $1,250. John wants to know, do you know more or less how many months it currently takes? Sorry, just answered that one. Don't know why these are showing up a second time. Jules says, I just bought the PRT guide and I can't believe all that's included. Thank you, Jackie. Yes, we do have a lot of information in there, and I'm updating it all the time, adding new information all the time. When I make an update, or when I add something new, or when I take something away, then I'll send an email to everybody that bought the online guide to let you know about any kind of updates that are happening. But thank you so much, Joel, for buying the online guide. Would an 18-year-old be bored in Boquete? There's a lot of 18-year-olds in Boquete, and there's more and more things to do here that they could get involved in. There's not going to be like a movie theater, or, they can go to David to the movie theater, or hanging out at the mall, things like that. You have to go to David. And it's $1.75 to take the bus from Boquete to David, so no problem. If we order the guide, would that be a hard copy or digital? It's called the Online Panama Relocation Guide because it's entirely online. And the reason we keep it online is so that I can keep it updated. If you got a hard copy, within 3 months, there could be significant changes to it, so you would have an obsolete product. So it's better for you to have the online guide. By the way, if you go on a Panama relocation tour, after the tour, you get the online guide for free. You also get access to our private Facebook group for free, and that's where we offer ongoing support, besides the 100 emails I get every single day of people wanting to know their questions about Panama. Have any expats discussed how they deal with aging parents while living abroad? So that's a big topic for a lot of people. You know, some people, they come here and they just plan that they're going to go back, every 6 months or every 3 months to see their parents. A surprising more people are bringing their aging parents with them to Panama. Some parents don't want to do it, but some parents are coming here because they're discovering how much more affordable life is here in Panama. So, and the fresh air, fresh food, all those things can definitely extend your life, I think. Jackie, do Medicare Advantage providers like AARP know that we're actually living in Panama as opposed to visiting? So whenever you get signed up, whoever gets you signed up, I think they disclose that you're living in Panama. What is the closest drive-in to Boquete? Do they have any movie theaters that show retro movies? So there's no drive-in movie theaters in Panama. We don't have that. But there are some movie theaters that are in David, and that's like 45 minutes from Boquete. As far as retro movies, there's a restaurant in Boquete in the San Francisco Plaza. It's called The Garden. And every Friday night, they show some kind of a retro movie for free. So you can have some dinner and enjoy a movie there. How do I make my smartphone work when I come for a few months in Panama? First time traveler here. So what you need to do is contact your cell phone provider. If you have like T-Mobile or AT&T, a lot of it's going to work wherever you are, even outside of your home. But you need to contact your cell phone provider. They'll let you know if you will or not. And you might have to add some kind of international plan, but maybe you won't. So ask them. Do you get a discount on your tour price if you buy the tour guide? So if you buy first of all, remember, if you come on the tour, you're going to get the online guide for free. So you don't need to buy the guide in advance. But if you've already bought the guide and then you decide later that you want to come on the tour, then yes, you get a $200 discount off the price of the tour. Barry says, if you're not on Facebook, is there any other way or method to get support from expats? So, yep, if you're not on Facebook, just send an email to info@Panama Relocation Tours. A member of an expat group I belonged to had a medical emergency costing $55,000. They had no insurance. Would Medicare Advantage have covered that? Yes, Medicare Advantage would have covered that 100% if they had it. So I really encourage people that you need to get insurance. If you don't get Panama insurance, if you don't qualify for Panama insurance because of your age, pre-existing conditions, then you need to get some other kind of insurance, whether worldwide medical or Medicare Advantage, if you can get that, or even travel insurance that would cover you. There are some travel insurance companies that you can get a 1-year policy that covers medical emergencies. Now, you may have to pay with travel insurance. You may have to pay up front and then file a claim to be reimbursed. However, we're working on something to get even travel insurance included that you don't have to prepay. I'll have more information about that later. So let me take a drink. Hold on. My voice gets dry. Okay. James says, if we have a Medicare Advantage plan with Aetna, I heard the policy is based on the current year. How does that renew? So the best thing for you to do, it's going to automatically renew if you don't do anything, unless they send you a cancellation policy. You need to be careful because some of the Aetna policies, they only cover you for the first 60 days outside of the United States. And that wouldn't do you any good if you're living in Panama. So I would suggest that you contact one of the Medicare Advantage agents that we work with, and they can review your plan, make sure it's going to be a good one for living in Panama. Maybe it is, but maybe it needs to change. If you have our online guide, their information is in there. If you don't have the Medicare Advantage agents and you need it, if you want them to review your plan or get you signed up, just send an email to info@PanamaRelocationTours.com, and I'll be glad to send you the contact information for the Medicare Advantage agents that we work with, that I know they'll do a really good job. You know, the plan that I have, I just renewed it, and my agent was able to give me an even better deal. I have United Healthcare, and it's usually like $170, $173 a month, but I got $100 cash back. So I'm only paying like $70 a month for my health insurance that covers me for emergencies anywhere in the world, and then full coverage in the United States. So it's a heck of a deal. Can I get a work permit on a pensionado visa? It depends on how long you've lived in Panama as to whether or not you can get a pensionado visa. whether or not you can get a work permit. You need to talk to your immigration attorney. You also have to have just cause on why you're going to be getting a work permit. So talk to your immigration attorney. Maria says, any suggestions for paying for expensive non-emergency medical procedures not covered by Medicare Advantage, surgery like a knee replacement? We do have some videos that we've done on people that have had like hip replacement, I think was $9,000. A knee replacement, I think was $7,000. So if you have Panama insurance, it might cover those things after the first year or two, and it might cover some of those things, not at 100%, but at least it could save you money. Does Panama accept Blue Cross Blue Shield Highmark? I know they accept Blue Cross Blue Shield, but I don't know what Highmark is, so I don't know if they do or not. How long have you been in Panama? What made you go there initially? Did you live in other countries besides your birth country? So I'll start at the last one. So other than my birth country, which was Texas, the United States, I've also lived in Germany, and I've lived in Puerto Rico, and I've lived in Mexico. The reason that I came here is because in Texas, where I lived before I moved here, it's hot in the summertime. It's really hot. Like for 9 months, it's 100 degrees. And I had this one summer where it was 100 degrees, even at 2 o'clock in the morning for 90 days straight. And my air conditioner was just running and running, big electric bill. And I just said, I don't want to live like this. I bet there's some place in the world where I can live where I will never need an air conditioner again. That was my dream. Have my windows open, have fresh air all the time, and no air conditioner. So like 2008, I started the hunt on looking for that. I visited 10 different countries, and when I saw Panama, I knew I'd found the right place. So in 2010, I packed it, sold everything, packed up everything, moved to Panama with 2 suitcases and a cat. At the time, I was married. My husband came too. He passed away a few years ago, so I'm here by myself. So yes, single women can live in Panama too. Does medical traveler's insurance normally have the same exclusions for existing conditions? So the medical travel insurance does have the same exclusions for pre-existing conditions. However, if you look at our online Panama relocation guide, the ones that we recommend for just a little bit of extra money, they'll include any medical emergency due to a pre-existing condition. So you can buy into getting the existing condition covered. Oops, thought that had a question mark. In Pedesee, can I find a small house to buy for under 150 or rent for 700? So yes, you can find a rental for under 700. We did a video not long ago with a guy that's renting a house for 500 in Pedesee. And yes, you can buy something for under 150 there. In the town of Pedesee, if you're just going to stay in the town, you can get by without a car. But you're going to find when you live in Pedesee that you're probably going to be going to Las Tablas at least once a week. But there's a bus that'll get you there and get you back. So you could get by without a car. Do you know Panama is joint to Marisol special visa for the... I'm not sure what that visa is. The Marisol visa, I believe that you're talking about is a special visa for people that want to start a business here, that you come from certain countries and you can do it. You need to talk, that visa is available. And I think it's like $5,000 to get that visa, but you need to talk to an immigration attorney about it. I don't have all the details on that one. Do lots of expats self-insure? A lot of expats do self-insure, and let me tell you why. Because maybe they can't afford to pay for insurance. Maybe they can't afford to pay for insurance, and they know that even if they can't necessarily afford to go to the private hospitals for healthcare, because it's going to cost more if they go there, it's going to be more affordable if they go to one of the public hospitals. It might take a little bit longer to be seen there, but they're going to get seen and they're going to get taken care of at the public hospitals. So the fact that we have public hospitals that are very affordable, available, makes it why many places, many expats self-insure. Is a deposit normally required when renting a hotel apartment? When you rent a hotel apartment, then they usually, if you're doing a 1-year lease, they're going to want a deposit. If you're just renting it month to month, then they're not going to want a deposit. Is mold a problem in the cooler hills of Boquete, Bocan, or Valle? So mold can be a problem if you live in a house that doesn't have good air circulation. If you keep the house closed up, I keep all my windows open and my front door and my back door. I keep them open all day long, and I have ceiling fans going to circulate the air. So I don't have a problem with mold. But if you didn't have good air circulation, you could certainly have a mold problem. How much is insurance for a condo in Panama City? So I don't know because I've never lived in a condo in Panama City. I can tell you that the house that I sold last year, that I was paying $205 a year for insurance, and it included the contents, included if someone drove in my car, earthquakes, all kinds of things, $205 a year. So my guess is for condo, it would be a similar price. Does NYS retirement medical cover Blue Cross Blue Shield and Anthem accept in Panama? I don't really understand the question. NYS retirement medical coverage. Blue Cross and Blue Shield is accepted in Panama. About Anthem, I don't know. You're going to have to send me an email with more details. Earl says, if you sign up for a custom private tour, do you still get access to the Panama Relocation Guide and the Facebook group? You do, Earl, because for you to get access to our list of private tour guides, you have to buy the online Panama Relocation Guide. And then the guides are listed in there. If you want Pedicey, these are the guides. If you want Panama City, these are the guides. If you want Bocas del Toro, these are the guides. They're all listed in there. You get the guide, you get all the updates, the private tours, and you get access to the private Facebook group, which we have a lot of discussions that happen in there every single day. So you'll learn something new every day whenever you're in the online guide. So I'm going to take a quick break and make an announcement again for those of you that came in late. We have a new video that's coming out on Friday. It's about a couple that lives in Gorgona in what I think is the most beautiful condo complex in that whole area. It's called Bahia. We have a sneak peek of it on our YouTube channel. Let me put it up here real quick. This is our YouTube channel, youtube.com, Panama Relocation Tours. So we have a sneak peek that you can see now, but it's going to go live on Friday at 5 p.m. Central, and I hope that you'll join us to watch it. I think that they did a great job. My videographer did a lot of drone shots showing the ocean views, the mountain views, and everything. So you're going to love this video. And so that's on Friday, but you can see a sneak peek of it is available right now on our YouTube channel, just a little short. If you go there, click on short, and you'll see the video of them talking about living in Bahia. While you're over at the YouTube channel, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're just 300 people away from getting to 40,000 people on our YouTube channel, and I hope I can get there before the end of the year. It would help a lot if you would subscribe so we can get there to 40,000 people before the end of the year. And Kenneth says, is there any chance or anything in the works for Humana? They will never accept Humana. The reason is for overseas payments, especially Humana, it takes at least a year, sometimes 2 years for the hospital to get paid. And the hospital said that, even when they do pay them, they'll pay them 10%. So if they file a claim for $10,000, Humana will say, well, we're only going to pay you $1,000 because you're in Panama. So nobody wants to work with Humana. None of the hospitals will take them. Do they have pet stores or dog breeders in Panama? would consider buying a puppy when I relocate. They might have dog breeders, I don't know, but there's so many dogs that are available for adoption. You might not, just get a mutt. They're really good dogs too. And they do have pet stores throughout the country. It's not the big Petco or PetSmart. It's not those big kind of stores like you're used to. They're smaller, but you'd be surprised how much they have there. In the guide, do you have a list of things to look out for when renting and buying a home? Yes, we have a list of 17 important questions that you need to ask before you rent. And we have a long list of things that you need to check before you even sign a contract. Don't sign a contract. Don't give anybody any money. You need to find out if it's even titled, if it's a titled property. So we tell you how to find out if it's a titled property, what to ask for. Will a public hospital admit self-insured that is not vaxxed? Yes, they don't ask you if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated at the public hospitals. Are there any online stores like Amazon and David that deliver to your home? There are no stores like Amazon in Panama that you can order from that will deliver to your home. However, there are stores like Panafoto's, an electronics store. They'll deliver to your house. I bought a new refrigerator a couple of months ago. They delivered it to my house. There's stores like Nove, it's like Ace Hardware. They'll deliver. There's a store called Stevens that has clothes and things, and you can order on that and they'll deliver. But there's not a one-stop shopping like there is in Amazon. Do most homes in Boquete and Bocan have metal roofs? I would say the majority of the homes do have metal roofs. However, some of the homes have what's called a cement fiber roof, and it's still that corrugated kind of a look, but then you're not going to hear the rain. Are dehumidifiers common in Panama? A lot of people use a dehumidifier. It's really going to jack up your electric bill if you use a dehumidifier. I just use ceiling fans, and it works just fine. Let's see. How much will it cost to get the Friendly Nation visa for a couple? I don't have that memorized right now. I'd have to look and see. And of course, it depends on which attorney that you use. I got an email today from someone that said, we're thinking about buying your online guide if you have an attorney that can save us money. And we're a married couple. We want to get the pensionado visa. And we were quoted $5,950 by one of the big name immigration attorneys in Panama City. And they said, if we buy your guide, is it going to save us any money? And I said, well, our immigration attorney is going to be $1,650 for a couple to get a pensionado visa. So yes, even the price of the guide plus the visa is it's almost like half as much. So it saved them a lot of money. But I don't have the price of the Friendly Nation visa memorized, sorry. It is in our online guide. Do you need a marriage license authenticated as a pensionado if you live in Panama? Advantages and disadvantages. So if you're going to apply for a pensionado visa as a couple, then you're going to have a certified copy of your marriage license authenticated at the Panama consulate or apostilled. You could do either one. But if you're going to apply together as a couple, then you're going to have to do that. If you're not going to apply together as a couple, if you want to apply individually, then you don't have to have the marriage license. And some people, let's say you got married in Barbados or someplace like that, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get your marriage license. Some people, for that reason alone, they just apply separately if they both qualify. Barry wants to know, are most communities dog-friendly, such as stores and restaurants? No, most stores are going to have a sign, and restaurants will have a sign. You can't bring your pets inside the stores, grocery stores, department stores. You can't bring your dog in or cat. Restaurants will allow pets to be in the outside seating area, but not the inside seating area. So How often does the power go out in Boquete? Do most people have generators? So that whenever it's the rainy season, especially in the rainy season, if there's thunder and lightning, then the power goes out. It could be once a week, could be once a month. It was out yesterday for a couple of hours yesterday. I had gone to the store. I'd gone into Boquete to do something. And I came back and I have an electric gate at my entrance, and push the button and the electric gate didn't open up. I have a key that I can manually open up the gate, luckily. So if you live in a place that has an electric gate, you want to make sure you have a key that you can open it manually if necessary. How much is it approximately to get the professional activities visa for a bachelor's degree? I don't know what the cost is for getting the professional visa. That visa takes a lot more time and a lot more work, but I don't know what the cost is for that visa. You'd have to ask an immigration attorney. What kind of wildlife can I expect to see in the Boquete and Volcan area? So you'll probably see a cudamundi, which is looks kind of like a raccoon with a long tail. So you'll see that. You might see some sloths. These are things that I've seen here in Boquete: sloths, cudamundis, the things that you're most likely to see. Is water free in condos? So most condos include the water. You don't have to pay extra for that. Is there any reason you would need a marriage license authenticated if you have children buying property or for some other reason? There's no reason that you would need the marriage license authenticated unless you're applying for a couple, for a visa as a couple. Otherwise, you wouldn't need the marriage license for anything. Can I legally bring seeds, for example, peaches and lemons, and grow them in Panama? Well, the seeds are available here. Whenever I had my other property where I had the big greenhouse, you can see it on our YouTube channel, I imported seeds because I wanted to have organic, non-GMO seeds, no hybrids at all. So I did import seeds. Since many retirees relocate to Panama, uncomfortable subject, but is there a funeral service in Panama that specializes with expats and repatriating the body? There are funeral services that'll handle everything for you. The death certificate, if you want cremation, if you want the body to be sent back, which is very, very expensive. So yes, they do take care of that. By the way, we have details about that in our online Panama relocation guide on what if you die here in Panama, what happens, what's the steps, what's needed from the family, and things that you should have prepared in advance in case you do die. So it's all in our online Panama relocation guide. So Linda said, how's the water quality? Is it hard or soft? Are there filtration systems? So I don't know if it's hard or if it's soft, but there are filtration systems. Most properties are going to have a reserve water tank. My house has a reserve water tank. So the municipal water comes into the reserve water tank and it fills up so that I always have an extra 10,000 liters of water in my reserve tank. When I turn on the tap in my house, then the water comes out of the reserve tank, it goes through a filter system, and it comes into my house. So that's how it works. And it's advisable to only rent someplace that does have a reserve water tank, because in the dry season, especially when it gets to like April at the end of the dry season, sometimes the water pressure is a little bit low, or sometimes in some areas there might not be any water. The municipality might turn it off for certain hours during the day. If you have a reserve water tank, you don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to take a couple more questions. My throat is getting dry. We are going to do this again next Wednesday, and if I didn't get to your question, you can send an email to info@PanamaRelocationTours.com, and I'll be glad to answer it there. So is water for bathing, laundry free throughout Panama? No. Water is not free throughout Panama. If you live in a condo complex, then the HOA fees usually include water. But if you don't live in a condo complex, then you're going to have to pay for your water. The water bill at my house is $100 a year. That's a year for unlimited water use that's not metered. Other places still have prices like $3 a month, $5 a month. So it depends on where you live. But water is very cheap here. Have the overseas cargo boxes or tubs recommendations changed from Mexico movers? Nope. We still have the same recommendations for movers. So my voice is going away. So I want to thank you all so much for being here on our Move to Panama Q&A. I'm going to do this every Wednesday because I know you have a lot of questions about moving to Panama. If I didn't get to your questions, send an email to info@Panama Relocation Tours, and I'll be glad to answer it there. And reminder that we have a sneak peek of the Friday video over on our YouTube channel. Just click on Shorts, and you can see the one that I just posted today. So you can get a little sneak peek of what the beach area and the ocean views look like from the condo that we're going to be showcasing on Friday. While you're on the YouTube channel, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to 40,000. I need 300 more people trying to get to 40,000 by the end of the year, and you could all help if you would subscribe. Thanks so much, and I will send an email with some updates about the Friday video and also what our Saturday live stream is going to be about. Thanks for being here, everybody. Goodbye.